Hello, it's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. It's Sunday, March 7th, 4 p.m. We're doing this earlier now. I was having a hard time getting up for my workouts Monday morning, and I figured y'all would be okay. And then I know that some of y'all watch from Ireland and the UK, so at least now it's a little better time for you instead of 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever it is. As always, I am not a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist, or a financial advisor. If you need one of those, please seek those. All readings and divinations are for the purposes of entertainment only, as in accordance with the law. I hope everybody is well. I've just been running around, not doing anything too crazy. Still getting messages from schools because it's Sunday and that's what they do. They let us know what the week is like. Sorry, I'll try and ignore it. I'm a little off kilter today. The whole day I've been like, please don't forget, please don't forget, please don't forget. That's how I roll as a mom. I feel like my brain is like in too many different places at once. Please like and subscribe. Hi, Laura H. I don't know if everybody will remember that it's at a new time this week, but you'll get on board eventually, I suppose. I saw something interesting. Maybe it's not that interesting. Did y'all, I don't know, on Twitter, what is it? I always call it Bed Bath & Beyond. It's not. It's Bath & Body Works. There was like a full-on brawl between, I don't know, like 5 ladies. I couldn't figure out what transpired to create this fight. I was trying to like dig through them and figure out, hi EF. And what I really feel like the underlying core level, and you're going to see a lot of this, I feel like, through April, is people sort of feeling like they're trying to take back control. They're trying to find control. So I think we're going to see a few more stories about irrational fights and things like that. And I think at the end of April into May, it should calm down. Maybe there is some sort of planetary things. I don't know if any of you follow astrology. I know KK looks at it a little bit. There might be something connected to that, but it just feels like it feels like through like the end of April into the beginning of May, it's going to feel like a need to take back control. Now, you don't have to have control by, being the warrior, the fighter. You don't have to try and impose your wants, needs, and desires on others in a forceful way. It can also be about taking back control, learning to set boundaries in a healthy manner. But it just feels like there's a large need for that to do, or for people to do that right now. Hi, McKeegan Stingray. How are you? Okay, so we've got Dusty Rose up with 2 questions, Starry Sky with 2 questions, EF with 2 questions, and Blue Storm with 1 question. We can get started. I know that Spiritual Seeker at the very end of the last live stream mentioned, like, maybe if you're on here for the whole thing, I might pick a couple people to do a free reading for. The only problem I have with that is that when someone types a question, like if I'm like, okay, if I feel drawn to a question, or how do I do that? Do I have you like pick a number, and the person, like, I write a number down and then you pick a number and this person closest to it gets it? Because if you write a question, as soon as I read it, I really do get information. And then I have it's that like wanting to do good for others where it's very hard for me to not answer it or to then walk away having that information. So that's a hard way for me to choose. Hi, Dan. Oh, I'm glad the YouTube thing reminder popped up too. Hi, Regine. Good to see everybody. Nicole, Allie. Hi, Devry. Okay, I'll check the PayPal. The last time I checked, I didn't have anybody new on my list yet, so that must have just gone through. So I hope everybody is doing well, as I said. Okay, so, oh, cool. We can add some more people. Hang on just a second. I even said to KK when I sent her the list, it's like, I hope a few more people sign up, only because I wasn't sure, when you do a time change thing. So add Laura H for 1 question. Mark Askew. Is that really your last name? Or are you just slightly askew? I guess it would be really your last name. Sorry. Mallory, Devery. These are all one question. And Allie. Mark, you're new. Thank you for joining us. This is a nice community we have. Oh, Stingray, you're okay. Sorry. Sorry. I'm not picking on you. I thought it was interesting. Do you get like terrible jokes about that all the time? Curious. I got you, Allie. No worries. Okay, Julie, I'll have to see if it comes through in a minute. We'll get through some of these questions and then I'll look for you, okay? Okay, Patricia, I'll look. Okay, cool. Dan, yeah, absolutely. If you decide you want to ask, please do. So I'll look for Patricia and Julie in a minute. I know I refunded somebody's last week, but I don't think it was yours, Lauren. Yeah, hang on. Okay, I'll do that real quick. I'll go through here. I know I refunded somebody's at the end of the night because they didn't show up, but it wasn't you, somebody else. I thought I got yours. Hang on. Lauren, what's your last name, just so I know what I'm looking at here? I'm sorry to out you publicly. Got Laura Hernandez. Lauren Davis. Oh, gotcha. Okay, no problem. Gotcha. All right, you're good. So add Lauren Jane for 2 questions. Okay, so Dusty Rose, Starry Sky, you guys are up if you want to start asking. And let me know if this is wonky, because I did tell my kids not to be, they like to play Roblox and it like pulls all kinds of, I don't know, video games are crazy. Like my computer goes, like does not like me playing video games. Well, because they wanted me to play Roblox with them. And the fan starts going crazy after like 5 minutes of play. Dusty Rose, Starry Sky, EF, anybody? Let's go. Let's start. Okay, it's very clear today. Okay, cool. You're welcome, Lauren. Okay, general, and based on what you come up, you'll ask your second question. Okay, so sorry, I just got like a really super sharp pain, like right on the side of my head here. And then it felt like so much pressure across here. But it's interesting because I don't feel like you're actually having headaches. But I also feel like, are you having anxiety attacks lately or something? Because it's that feeling of like holding my breath, like, but I'm not breathing through my nose. I felt like I was taking really shallow, short breaths through my mouth. Yay, Rose. I think I mentioned you one of the last times about just sending you energy healing. I don't know if you saw that one. You're welcome, Lauren. EF, does any of this make sense, the physical stuff I'm talking to? I really feel like there's some kind of headachy thing going on, or opening up your third eye, because it's just so much right now. Hi, Tiffany. Absolutely. Just pay, and I go back and check my PayPal periodically through here, and then add people to the list. Yeah, Julie, hold on. I'll check in a minute because I've got enough ahead of you to kind of keep me going for a minute. But I'll check. Give me a minute so I can get through at least a couple questions. EF, but I think I'm breathing through them fairly. Lots of anxiety attacks. Okay, this is just a symbol then for me of like somebody who's not breathing enough, who's not like, that's all. So it doesn't mean that you're not actually breathing. It's just a way to get me to get to the anxiety for some people or not. So it's not. So sometimes I can feel anxiety in my chest here. I can feel it in my stomach. There are different levels of like when I'm mentoring people, I'm like, you can't just say somebody has anxiety because there's like massive panic attack anxiety attacks where you can't hold on to anything. There's the low level anxiety that like is pretty common for here and there. It's like, it's manageable. I mean, it's like it runs the gamut. So it hits me in different places. So I think it was just to get me to talk about anxiety and holding my breath and feeling that, like, when you hold your breath, you feel like you're not relaxed. You're waiting for something terrible to happen. Like it's that if you have like a physical pain, you might hold your breath and all of your muscles tense because you're anticipating something terrible. That's the sort of the feeling I get is, I don't want to say it's irrational, but sometimes anxiety really is irrational, and it just feels a little like right now it feels irrational, but I also feel like, geez, are you also like, I don't know if you're grinding or TMJ or what, but it's like all of a sudden real tight on my jaw here. Okay. You don't have any reserve for anyone, just trying to get used to your job. And my dad is having a mental health crisis. And then I started feeling guilty for not being able to hold it together for him as well. Okay. All right, let's talk mental health because I think maybe this needs to come up, and I've been not wanting to talk about it. I have a family member that is extremely mentally ill, and I have to block her on every single, and I don't want to say who she is because I feel like I want to at least honor that bit for her. I have to block her on every single form of social media and my website, and because she's like, when I say mentally ill, like not like mentally ill, like really not with it. And unfortunately she really believes the things that are coming into her brain, and she believes the world is out to get her and all. She's a lot of paranoia and everything else. And someone actually posted on one of my YouTube videos as a warning to me because she had made a TikTok video, and like one of the ones she made kind of went, it had 14,000 views. And there was another one, which by the time I saw it, had been taken down, but apparently she was threatening my children and I. So here's the thing about somebody and their mental health. And she doesn't want help because she doesn't think that she needs help. She thinks she's perfectly fine, and the rest of the world is has the problem. With some people and their mental health issues, you can bleed yourself dry in order trying to rescue them or save them. So if you're in a spot where you don't have to give, that's okay. And you don't have to feel guilty about it. At the end of the day, like if someone had a physical illness, right? So if they say they broke their arm, and they're like, but I broke my arm. And you're like, okay, I'll call you a cab. I can't be there for you because I'm across the country or I'm this or that. I'll call you a cab to take you, or I'll call you an Uber, or we'll call the ambulance. Like there's all different forms of ways to get somebody help. And if they're saying no, or they're not willing to help take the steps and the effort on their own, especially if they can, you can't feel that it's your responsibility. You can try and help someone as much as you can, but you also, if you don't have to give, you need to set your own boundaries and keep a healthy space because, it's like being on an airplane. If you have to put the mask around yourself first, and if you don't have the reserves, you don't have it. And You can say that. That's okay to say to somebody, like, I just, like, I can do this, this, and this to help you, but I really, like, I'm in the thick of it myself, and maybe I'm not the best support system for you. Maybe you need therapy. Maybe somebody else can step in. But it's okay to say that. Okay, it's okay to take time for yourself and heal yourself and make sure that you're doing okay. So when I say on here, and you guys say, like, oh, so my family is like, I get it. I'm coming up from a place of, I get it. And it's really important that you learn to set really healthy boundaries. It's really important to understand that it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I just don't have it right now. Unfortunately, in my situation, I couldn't help this person because it became a safety issue and mental health issue for myself, where it's like I didn't have enough to say and be a good parent if I was always involved in trying to save this person who doesn't want to save herself. He's impatient now. That's fine if he doesn't want to talk to you. That's okay. That's okay. Give him his space, give him his time. Know that that's not really about you. And it's okay. And you have a lot of TMJ. And you know what? It's a blessing that he's impatient. I mean, I don't want to be flippant or anything, but he has somebody watching over him. They're perfectly trained to take care of him. There's, when you're inpatient, there's all kinds of staff that take care of you. There's the therapist, there's the medical doctors, there's everything. So he's safe. He's okay. If he doesn't want to talk to you, let him process this shit. Let him deal with this shit. And then he'll get there. You didn't do anything wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. You're doing enough. You're doing enough. It isn't your job, and you know this as a nurse. You know this, right? That you do have to take care of yourself. You've done a great, whatever it is, whatever you think your job is, it's not your job to parent your parent, even when you're an adult. You can be supportive, but he's got the help he needs. So, like, kudos to him, right? And take a step back and take care of yourself right now. You need to just do you right now, and that's okay. So I just felt like the really bad headache, the anxiety, all of that stuff feels like more like triggers of, and I'll say this, that I felt more angsty energy lately in the past, like week and a half, feeling like people's, like kind of like an up and down. I know this is like so simple and silly, but practice deep breathing techniques. It's very simple. You want to breathe in, whatever you breathe in, you exhale double. So if you breathe in for 2, exhale for 4, breathe in for 3, exhale for 6. It's double for the time, counting by seconds. Do you have something with your, sorry, because I just keep rubbing here. Do you have something with your right arm? They just said to me, they're like, she really just needs a little bit of like mothering love right now. And allow yourself to cry, because it just felt like this need to like really release and really just let go of everything. Crying doesn't mean you're weak or that you're falling apart. It's a cleansing. It's a clearing. It's okay to cry. You don't think there's anything with here? Okay. Maybe just watch it. It's okay to cry. So it just feels like, just like let it out. And if you don't have someone that can hug you, because I feel like you could really just use a big hug right now. I know this sounds strange, but maybe like if you have a dryer in your apartment, throw a big blanket in the dryer and make it nice and toasty warm and kind of like wrap it around you like a nice warm hug. I know that's strange, but like it's like sometimes you just need that like warmth around you. And they're saying, they're like, she's going to be okay. It really does feel like 2 to 3 weeks, I feel like you're going to kind of be over the hump of this. It's just like you're in that thick of it. And it's hard to move when you're at that point. It feels like you're at the crescendo or the apex of the mountain. It feels the scariest. And then you start heading down and you're like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I think I can. The little train that could, the little engine that could. I just feel like so I'm asking him, like, what does she need to hear? And they're like, just, you really need to hear what you about your sister, and talking about like just knowing that it's okay, knowing that she's not alone, knowing that she's not selfish, knowing that it's okay to take the time for herself and to really just be and not feel like, don't feel like you have to be anywhere. I feel like you need to write down goals for the day, but like realistic goals for your day at work, for like, okay, today I'm going to learn this. Today I'm going to master this. And just like one thing, pick it and do it, and like get it under your thing, get it under your belt, and then do the next day and the next day and the next day. So instead of thinking I need to learn it all now, it's just one thing at a time. And just kind of, my coach will say, he's like, just chip away, like, cause he'll give us these, like, do like whatever, like a ton of stuff where I'm like, I lose count and I have to like mark lines and everything else when we're doing squats and whatever else. And he'll just say, just chip away at it. Like you can't do it all at once. You just do a little bit at a time and chip away at it. Hi, Valerie. I don't know. We just kind of go, and I get a list and I go, that looks like we've had enough. And then I like, as far as people purchasing them. Okay. So, Valerie, okay. All right. So I'm checking my list now. I've got Devery, Allie, Patricia, Julie, Valerie has one. I know that you guys typed your question on here, but I will probably just ask you to retype it so I don't have to remember it or check back here, just so you know. And Tiffany, I got yours. Okay. All right. Your second question is, I had a really nice time with a gentleman friend the other night, and I wondered what's the outlook for the next few months. Can you give me his name, please? Just first name. I don't need a last name or social security or anything crazy like that. I mean, I'm just kidding. Andrew. Did you ask about Andrew before? Someone asked about an Andrew. You're blushing. Okay, so I heard, yeah, he's a good guy. Like, I feel like he's light and funny. Like, he has this light, funny energy about him. And they're telling me to warn you, like, just like get that fear of abandonment, that like nervousness stuff in check. Like that, I don't want to say you're needy, but it's like sometimes when we have fear of abandonment issues, I have them. Lots of people have them. I mean, I've been working on healing them and stuff, but I didn't know I had them for a long time. And so it created this like fear that has, it doesn't have to be just in romantic relationships. It's just like things are going to end, or that, friendships are going to leave. Like, and I unfortunately grew up with a childhood where it was sort of like unknowingly instilled in me to have this, but it can come off as needy. So it's sort of like, breathe, look at those issues, heal those issues, and know that if you get triggered, just to breathe and play it cool, because it may just be you. Okay? Like that's going to be the challenge in this relationship for you. Hi, Empress. It's definitely you. Okay. So, and that's good for everybody to hear. Like, look, it's okay to look at ourselves and go, all right, this is a place where I could heal, or this is a place where I could grow. So when I say these things to you, it is not coming from a place of judgment. It's like, look, this is like, like Florence Scovel Shinn has a book called The Game of Life and How to Play It. And it's like, if you look at it as a game, how do I game the system? How do I do this the best that I can? And digging in and going, there's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just fine. It's the world. And then like constantly hitting your head over and over. That just makes your life, ugh. So when I say these things, it's like, this is going to be the part that's going to be the struggle for you in the relationship. You know it now. So, okay, maybe start working on it now, or recognizing it, having it be a little flag of a little white flag of like, hey, Valerie did make a payment, but she hasn't, she's further down on the list. Okay. So you're done. All right. Starry Sky, Dusty Rose. I do feel like it'll move forward. Yep. But I feel like you just that like in the relationship, you need to like watch that. Like, don't think like, oh my God, he didn't text me. Like, just assume that if he doesn't respond back right away, he's probably busy. People will apologize to me for not responding right away. I'm like, whatever. I just assume everybody's busy. Like, I don't take it personally. I'm like, half the time I'm like, oh, I totally forgot I texted you. So like, just like, most of the time when people have stuff, it really isn't about you. Okay. Oh my God, Dusty Rose. Wait, what do you want me to do? Okay, it says serial killer for novel. Went to Utah, FBI too close in North Carolina. Killed a woman on Indian reservation. Women on Indian reservations. Wants the name of the reservations in Utah. Wait, you want the name of the reservation, or do I want the name of the reservation? I know you were trying to like shorten it, but I'm like, I don't even really understand. Like, I'll say it this way. This is how it comes across when I do these things where I'm like sitting in a car, like if I'm the passenger and I'm like, oh, you should have turned there. And they're like, what? And I'm like, because I know the area and I know what's going on in my head. I assume you know what's going on in my head. So I just want some clarity on what you wrote. Okay, Sarav. So if you wouldn't mind clarifying what you wrote just a little bit, that would be very helpful for me, Dusty. All right, I have Sarav, and then I'm going to close it after Sarav. I think that's enough. I don't want to be here all evening and afternoon. I mean, listen, we're earlier, so we could. I'm just kidding. We can't, because I have to eat dinner with my family. My kids were like super happy about. Yes, but what's your question exactly? Should you write are you asking if you should write the novel about it, and yes, the reservation names would be helpful. You've researched the names, so but what exactly are you asking me? I'll take the names of them, but then what are you asking me to do? Like, should you write the book? I'm just. I'm only looking at my watch because we have like one of those ring things on our door, and this time of day, the sun hits it just right and it always goes off. And so I was just seeing if it was something I needed to. Okay, so you don't really care. I have researched the names of the reservation. Would he have killed on these or one of them? Okay, thank you. That's the question I want to know. Go Sweet Pavant. Until Yampa, Grand River. I feel like Grand River, like that. I just. And I think the Uncompog, Pog, that one I feel like actually fairly recent. Do you know if it's recent? Because I just feel like, does he strangle them? And I feel like he talks to them in their ear. Like he's very close to them. He makes it very like intimate, and it's not like about like sexual. I feel like it's. I keep seeing one woman who's she's I don't know if it's mid to late 20s. She looks pretty young. She's small. Maybe 5'2", 5'3", has a very small frame, and she has her hair in a bun. And I don't feel like he grabs him and kills him right away. I actually feel like there's like he keeps them for a little bit. Sorry, I didn't even see what you wrote, but yeah, I feel like he keeps them for a few days. And it's weird because I feel like he might feed them, but just like a little bit, or I feel like it's like not, it feels bitter tasting. And I feel like, I don't know if he's been to the White River one, but it feels like that would be next. So maybe he's been there and that's the lineup of it. Does he sew their mouth shut? Or he does something to them. I don't know what this is. All right, is that good enough? I don't want to sit too much in that energy. And I almost feel like they're looking at it, but they're not putting the work in it, like the manpower in it that they would if it wasn't on a reservation. And I feel like he knows that. So he either is very familiar with law enforcement or military or something like that. Like I feel like there's some sort of trained killer aspect to it. It doesn't feel like it was recent. It just feels like he knows that it wouldn't be as investigated as others, which is terrible, but that's the feeling I get, that it's like they don't put the manpower into it, given that it's. Did you have another question? Because you were in for two. And Starry Sky, are you here? Blue Storm, Laura H. Okay. What's the significance of Rob following me on social media? If it's only platonic professional, do you see me meeting someone new romantically in 2022? Thank you. It doesn't feel romantic. It does feel like more out of curiosity. I don't know if you really want Rob anyway. It feels like there's like a weird controlling thing about him. And I do feel like you will find someone in 2022, but it feels like, so they're giving me an A month, and I don't know if it's April or August. I'm leaning more towards it being August. And I know that feels like a really long time away, but I just feel like you're like really invested in other stuff right now. So it's sort of, it's not that it's not important. It just doesn't feel like, it feels like I've got so much other stuff going on that the time flies by. I can't. So I'm not getting. I feel like it's a gentleman, probably in his 50s, and I feel like he has like longer hair right now. Like he just feels like, and he feels taller to me. I don't get a street name or anything like that. It's just they're not. I don't know why they're showing. They showed me a little bit of him. They didn't give me any street names or anything like that. Have a good one, Blue Storm. Starry Sky, Laura H, you're here. Go ahead and type your question. I think he may have cardiac issues. So blood pressure, may take, what's it called for angina? He may have nitroglycerin pills that he takes for angina. There's something like, there's an aspect of having cardiac issues. May have a pacemaker, something like that. Sorry, Laura H, do you want to ask your question? So I've got Laura H, Mark, I don't remember your name. I'm sorry, you've got a different name on here. Where is it? Stingray. There you go. All right. Well, I end up taking a course called what is it CELTA O? Teach adults or maybe both? Wait, will I take a course called CELTA or this other certification to teach? I feel like it'll be the other one, whatever, because I keep getting pulled that way. Like it's not, that one doesn't feel like, it feels like the CELTA may come later, but it feels like there's something else that you'll do because it's, I guess, wherever you end up teaching will be more important for that like district or school or whatever it is? Hi, Maria. You said to teach it. Oh, you take both. Okay, yeah. So I feel like you'll take the other one first, and then um, the CELTA feels like later, but it feels more like because you want to have it to have extra rather than it's required at the school that you're at. Starry Sky, are you here? I wonder if she forgot and thought it was at 8 o'clock. Mark, your question is Stingray. What's your question? Devery, you can go ahead and write yours. And Mallory, if you're here, you can go ahead and write yours. Please like and subscribe, share me with your friends. I really only get out there from, word of mouth is basically how people find me randomly. The universe brings you into my world, into my, kidding, my orbit. Your living situation and career prospects. This is a weird question, but I just felt like really dizzy, and I'm like, does he need to drink water? But I actually felt like you're a little bit high right now. No judgment, don't care. Just wondering what I'm feeling through here. You're welcome, Laura. You're not high. Okay. Do you do that though? Like, cause there's just this aspect of feeling like a little dizzy. And for me, it feels like, imbibing. It doesn't feel like my blood sugar is off or I'm dehydrated or something like that. Nope. Okay. There's some aspect to this. I don't know what it is. I have an arrow garden, another part of my basement, and there's all these little flies in my basement now, like tiny little fruit flies. Maria, the list is closed now, so you can come back next Sunday at 4 p.m. If you go to my website and join my mailing list, you'll get an email on Saturdays reminding you that I go live, and it'll have the links and everything, and you can sign up then. If you're a part of my email list, you can certainly join earlier. Sorry, does the dizziness make sense to you, Stingray? I just Miyagi'd that. Just the fly. Sorry. Miyagi-san. Which country? New York. I'm on Eastern time, East Coast in the United States. Okay, there's something with dizziness. I don't know what this is then. Just keep it in the back of your head. It might come up. You might start having little dizzy spells. It might be a health thing that's coming up that you need to monitor. Maybe you do need to drink more water. I'm not sure, but it felt like a different kind of dizzy to me than that. So just keep it in the back of your mind. They give me stuff. It doesn't always make sense at the time that you get it. I will ask about your career path and your living situation. It's just like this feeling of being under the influence is sort of what I felt like. And I don't know. It didn't feel like drunk dizzy either. So I don't know what it is. It could be maybe you're gonna get a little cold or something and you end up having some dizziness or have your sinuses are full and you get that. I don't know, whatever, but just the way it felt. So I have to give it to you the way I feel it. Okay. That's it. This is okay. I don't know why. This is weird. Okay. I keep seeing like legs and arms all around you. Like not like but like connected to someone and feeling someone is very clinging to you. And it feels like it's like fun and flirtatious, but it doesn't feel I don't know if it means you're going to be moving in with someone or if you already live with somebody like a loved like a like a romantic relationship, not and it feels like a female. I don't see moving. So I don't see packing. If someone's going to be moving, it's either I get a knowing. I don't see moving immediately, but I do see they're highlighting October to me for you. Um, I actually feel like you moving in with somebody in October, and it feels like a romantic thing. So you know what I'm talking about? The clinging energy. Okay. Someone special who lives far away. Okay. So it may be in October, then you're closer together. I could be feeling hurt. Does he spell? It could be. Does she have like stomach issues? Because it almost feels like IBS or what's that other one where they don't absorb, they have like a malabsorption issue. It's not IBS though, it's something else. I can't think of the name of it. Do you even know what you want to do? Because I'm like asking about career and it just feels like I'm flitting around in the wind and I really don't even have like a direction. There's this aspect of being very creative, but I just feel like I'm making my own way. I don't feel like I'm working for a big marketing firm or you're looking for something to spark your creativity. Um, and no direction. They're not showing me. So it feels like whenever they don't show me, it's not because it's not out there or you don't have a job. They're sort of like, you just have to make a decision and go with it. I do feel more of like, like I said, marketing or something like that rather than being a graphic designer or a photographer. It feels more creative in the sense of coming up with ideas and then bringing them to life versus painting, photography, things like that. But I feel like if you do that, because this is like an if, not you should, but if you do that, it feels like I would work for a smaller group, more small, independent, not like a big, big agency. No, the stomach stuff felt related to her because I was talking about her. You're an idea man, but it's hard getting those ideas off the ground. It feels like whatever you do, you end up connecting with the people that need you to get it off the ground, but it doesn't feel like you make that real connection until next year. So it feels like maybe doing odd jobs this year, kind of just freelancing here and there, kind of coming up with stuff. But I feel like not really having it under your belt, not having the, I feel like you don't really have the drive to do it right now. Like you're like, yeah, like like you said, I don't really know what I want to do, but it's really kind of like not having you need a fire lit under your ass to go do it is the feeling I get. And you don't have that right now. And so you're sort of just like waiting. So it feels like odd jobs for this year, and next year I sort of like click with somebody and they're like, that's when I work with them. And it feels like a small group. Like I feel like 4 or 5 people there. It feels very small at first. It doesn't mean it doesn't grow, but it feels like when you start there, that's what it is. It feels not huge. I keep getting shown like I follow a lot of marketing people on Twitter, but like and ad people. I don't know why. I just think I don't know. I follow some spiritual people, but I don't know. I don't like to be in the spiritual bubble all the time. So Ryan Reynolds has like he works with his like he's got his advertising little group, and it's a small group of people. It's not a huge big agency. That's what it feels like. It feels like where you could be impactful, but you're on a smaller level, like boutique-y. Okie dokie. I'm going to move on. Okay, Mark. I hope that was helpful. Mallory. Oh, Starry Sky, have I ever had a lifetime in Ireland? Yes. 3 of them. I always find you have all these like past life things and you can't validate them, but but I hope everything else I've given you validates it. How is your eye and your knee? How are you doing, by the way? And do you have another question? You're welcome, Stingray. Mallory, if you want to go ahead and ask your question, Devry, Allie, you guys can go ahead and start playing the keys, tickling the ivories. Just kidding. You're welcome. A breadcrumb that helps for sure. So sometimes when we get readings, it ends up being a validation. Like even when when I'm mentoring people, I'm like, a lot of times that you're going to get stuff, even if it seems like really upsetting or scary, and you're like, I don't want to say it. It's stuff that you're validating for people. And I was talking about this with somebody too, is like sometimes in life we're in a waiting period, and it doesn't mean that nothing's happening. Just like when you marinate meat, right? Or you cook something low and slow, it's not all fiery and bubbly and crazy, but it's like soaking in the juices. It's getting all the flavor in it. It's working out all the tough stuff. So just know that when you're in this sort of like waiting period, just welcome it, welcome the experiences in it, and don't be in a rush to get wherever else. It doesn't mean like you can be content. It doesn't mean that you're not striving for more. It's just when my business wasn't growing and I was like, first got out of all of my psychic development classes and I was like, where are all my clients? I was really impatient for a while and wanting everything to happen. And then I finally just like let go and was like, all right, whatever. Like whenever you want people to find me or however you want me to find them, whatever, just lead me in that direction, encourage, guide me to take a step in that way. Even if I don't understand it, just like I'll one foot in front of the other and I'll stop like hoping I'm there when I'm really here kind of thing. You just have to sort of get in that when you're in that holding phase to just be okay with being in that holding phase. I got right away, get a second opinion. And don't say your eye is not so good. Don't say that. Remember, that's manifestation. So my eye is healing. My eye is healing. My eye is healing. It's not exactly where I want it to be yet, but my eye is healing. But I would get a second opinion for sure. And I don't know if that's intuition or if that's just me saying what I would always tell my patients when I would send them home from the NICU when I worked in the NICU, was, you know what? Or I tell their mommies, right? Or their daddies. Um, if you feel like something's wrong and you don't feel comfortable with the response that you're getting from your doctor, you're going to go and knock on somebody else's door, and you're going to stamp your foot, and you're going to stamp it harder and louder until somebody listens to you. There are lots and lots of doctors around, and if you feel like, you're concerned, because especially with your eyes are not something that, like, if that fails, that's it. That's your vision. Like, they don't have the technology to fix that, especially with a retinal detachment. So I would go get a second opinion without reservation. If you were a family member, I would say go get a second opinion. Um, that's okay. Okay, so Mallory said, I am trying to plan a trip with friends soon. Do you see us end up going? Yeah, and I'm leaning towards June. So I know you think soon, but it feels like everything has to fall into place, and there's one person where they can't do it until then, like end of May, June. Like, it's like trying to get everything to fall into place, and that seems the best time. Middle of May. Okay, so end of May, June. Thanks for the validation. Waiting for his vaccine. Okay, so it feels like whatever it is, it's like it can't happen until then. I was gonna say it might be a vaccine thing, but I don't want to seem too know-it-all. You know what I mean? Just kidding. Devry, did you write your question? You're up. Oh, there you are. Sorry, dear. I'm starting to have second thoughts on my move only because of the job situation, and I think I might have jumped the gun, but I'm not sure. Is there any advice on moving forward? You're welcome, Mallory. Okay. Sorry. I know it's probably not very fun watching me be quiet, but it's like I keep hearing Macy Gray songs in my head. Um, they're not saying so. They're sort of saying, like, it's not that it's about destiny for you. Like, I still see you going. It just might be later. They're highlighting November right now, so it may be like it feels like I still see you going. Like, it feels like before then, though. It's just that feeling, Debbie, that literally you can do whatever you want. They're not saying you have to get there, you have to get there, you have to get there. They're sort of saying you need to go within and find the power within yourself and remember how powerful you are and how resilient you are. It feels like when you're saying you're second guessing things, it literally feels like frozen out of fear rather than like you're so worried about making a mistake and not doing it perfectly. And there is no such thing as a mistake because everything falls into, like, everything is important. Every experience is important. And even when somebody fails, you still learn through failure, right? I still see you moving. Because what I'm getting around November is being in a very different place than you are now. Like you'll look back and look at how far you've come and how different your life is. So it feels like I'm not where I am right now. Wait, you already moved? I'm confused. Starting to have second thoughts of my move. Oh, I see what you're saying. I misread the question. That's why I'm like, so there's something around November. So it maybe by November you feel sort of settled and more powerful and going within and realizing how powerful you are. You didn't make a mistake. November, it keeps getting highlighted. Is your birthday November? Your mom's? There's also like they're showing me like gears grinding to a halt. So it's almost like they're like all you have to do is clean it out and oil it up. Like it's like just um you have to do the work for it. Like it's not the universe isn't going to plop everything in on your lap. Like you just have to start trusting that like you're putting the work in, it's happening, and just keep moving forward and focus on you, not when's he coming, when's the perfect job, blah, blah, blah. Just trusting that the perfect job is coming for me. So it may mean that you take a job and it's not quite the right one, but maybe you needed to take that in order for time to span out to give you a paycheck in order for that perfect job. You're waiting for the person to leave that perfect job or that perfect job to be created. I know this isn't comforting you right now, and I'm sorry that that's the case, but I feel like it's that continued message of like you have to, you have to go within. You really have to realize how powerful you are and start like just it doesn't mean owning what you're doing, but just like don't second guess the choices that you're making. You're given these inspirations and these ideas for a reason. Does that make sense when I say that to you? Allie, Lauren, Jane, you're up. Patricia, Julie, Valerie. It's a shadow. I was like, is that a big sweat? I know. I'm sorry, Devry. I wish I could tell you everything and exact dates and everything else. Sometimes they keep things a little bit more hidden because it's for our best good. I don't know why. I mean, there's times where I'm like, I've gotten readings and I'm like, oh, like I just like, or they're like, yeah, you're going to do great in 8 years and in 10 years. So it is what it is, what it is, what it is. Sometimes we're like, I really believe in manifesting. And I really believe our thoughts and our blocks are the things that stop us from moving forward as our belief systems. And that's what it feels like. Is like you're sort of like stepping on your own feet. You're sort of standing in your own way. And it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. You're bad. It's just maybe you're supposed to be stuck right now. Maybe you're supposed to kind of like not be trucking along because there is growth and learning and being in that stuck phase. All right. So I'm going to tell you my theories on twin flames because I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I don't believe in twin flames. I seriously, with all of my heart, I sort of understand the concept of it, but it also sounds quite terrible when you read it, right? It's like this like push and pull and this back and forth and this like super dysfunctional relationship that we have because we love each other so much and we're connected and okay, you know what? I really think that somebody came up with this concept because they didn't want to look at their own dysfunctional coping mechanisms in a dysfunctional relationship. And so they came up with this in the spiritual term of we're twin flames. And I say, fuck that noise. Because I think, and I think a lot of people jump on that because a lot of people don't want to look at their shit. I believe that you can have many soulmates. I don't believe there is one soulmate. I believe we have soul families and people that we incarnate with multiple times over in different experiences in every life. So somebody may be, you know, a close family member or a life partner in one life and literally be like the guy who delivers your newspaper in the next life. I'm like, maybe you shouldn't have asked me the twin flame question. So, do I think this is a potential life partner? Is that maybe what you're looking at? Is that what you would rather know? Because it's hard for me to answer the twin flame question because I understand what you're asking, but I believe there are some people that have greater and deeper connections and in certain lifetimes. And I do believe, but I don't believe that there's only one person that can fulfill the need in a lifetime to learn lessons from. But I do believe there are certain people you are extremely drawn to and have a deeper connection with. Hands down, I absolutely believe that. Do I think he's that one? I think he's part of your soul family, but I don't feel like he is that like super, super crazy strong connection. And I'll move away from saying karmic lessons because I don't fully jam with karma. I do believe that there is like I believe in the idea that every action has an opposite and equal reaction. It's a physics law, right? So I believe like when you put good out there, it comes back to you as good, and you know the law of the golden rule. But karma in the Western sense is like punishment and praise, and I sort of don't believe in it in that sense. My feeling is that you wrote into a contract that you would connect in this way in this lifetime to heal something, but that doesn't feel like a karmic thing to me. Because I also like hate the idea of like you bring all this karma into this life. I'm like, that like continues that story of like fear and guilt and weightiness, and I'm not really down with that either. Like I just think, you know, we're here to learn and heal, and we can choose to like get it and not have to keep going through it, or you can choose to like learn it a little differently. Like there's different learning styles for people. It's okay if your phone is lagging. So I feel like you're meant to be with him in this relationship, but I don't feel long term. So I feel maybe a year or two. Sorry for the long, like messy runaround to get to that answer. It's just I just feel like it's important to explain like my sort of the way I believe it kind of goes together and why I'm giving you the answer the way I am. Whatever. I hope it's helpful. And because I also think like a lot of people go, oh, that's that. And they like all jump on. They're like, well, these 18 people say they believe in this. And I sort of I'm a Cancer by nature, so right, crabs walk sideways, but they always end up at the same place. So I just kind of do my own thing. Um, and because I'm continually growing in my spiritual practice, right? So in my beliefs, and so you'll even see at the beginning of these, I was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, nah, don't, there's just, I grow. And so I change my opinions because of different things that have happened to me or different discoveries I've made, whether it's connecting with my own guides or whatever. Manifesting has really changed a lot of my beliefs around karma. Because I used to go, yeah, karma's a bitch and I believe in karma, but I really don't. Now that I'm like looking at manifesting from the Neville Goddard aspect and the idea of multiverse and like the multi-dimension, there's infinite parallel universes to this one and all the others, and that time happens all at once. Everything happens at once. So that sort of changes my idea of karma too. So you're just bouncing from parallel universe to parallel universe. Just my ideas. Allie, are you up? Are you here? Are you here? Messages from my guides. Okay. And then did you have another one, Lauren? Oh, any messages from my guides about my future? What should I do after college? Do you want my smart ass answer? Get a job. Sorry. I actually feel like when you graduate from college, there's a big move. Like I feel like across the country move. Like I feel like a big move to somewhere where like I feel like I don't know where you are right now, but it feels like I'm in a place that's more maybe not rural, but maybe more Bible belty, maybe more conservative-ish. And I want to kind of stretch and I feel like more opportunities. It feels like moving to the East Coast, but it feels like I'm a big move. It doesn't feel like I'm going from Jersey to New York City. And also, I will never tell anybody what they should do. I can say what I can see happening or what's for your highest good, or if you do this, then this is what I see. Does that make any sense about the moving? You might be lagging a little bit, so I'll go and move on to Allie real quick. Have you had a lot of ear ringing lately, Allie? And then also so like it's like you're sort of starting to be more honest with yourself because they're like she's starting to speak the truth with herself. Like you're starting to be more honest with yourself, and it feels like there's been a lot of like, and it feels in a very short time, a lot of growing up, a lot of interpersonal growth, and it literally feels like Jesus Christ. Sorry. um, Jesus H Christ. In like a 2-week period, it feels like I just came to these really huge realizations of that inner dialogue I have and of like being really honest, like, okay, these are my shortcomings and this is how, but it doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It's just like, this is how I work through them. This is what I need to do. And it just feels like they want to congratulate you. They're sort of like saying kudos to you for this huge growth and like getting it. They're like, we've been waiting for this. It just feels like a really beautiful, like flower blossoming. I don't know why I keep wanting to say chocolate bar, but does that make sense, Allie? You're kind of confused and hurt. There's healing going on, and so Does it make sense when I say that you've, like, started to, like, really kinda see yourself in a, like, a very, it feels like an empathetic, but a really honest way? Okay. Nobody said healing is easy. That's why they call it doing the work when you go to therapy. It's work. And it can be confusing and it can be very hurtful and there can be shame wrapped around it and everything. It doesn't mean you have anything to be ashamed of, but it's like you go through all these stages when you do healing and when you look at yourself and you're in a growth period, but they're saying that you're doing really, really well. So as much as you feel smarter and stronger. So as much as there may be hurt and confusion, that's okay. That's releasing the old stuff that's not working for you. So just, I feel like the biggest takeaway you should have is that you're doing really, really well. Um, we forget when we're healing, like if we get a trigger or something, a lot of times as humans, we go, oh, I'm not perfect yet. I thought I was doing so good. And like something like bumps us and we're like, fuck, we like, not again. And like you forget to look at it and go, but you know what? I didn't react as much as I would have in the past. I didn't slide as far as I did in the past. So sort of like look at take a different perspective and instead of feeling like, "Ugh," like be proud of yourself because a lot of people don't look at themselves. A lot of people don't recognize where they have room for growth. So it's not necessarily a negative, right? So we all have areas that are room for growth. So if we can quit putting things in duality of like, this is perfect, this is shit, this is positive, this is negative. Like if you can just say like, well, I have some belief systems that sort of like hindered my growth. They may have helped me. So there's a lot of coping mechanisms that we create and when we're in the middle of an event. And remember, trauma can be like, you know, really, really super traumatic or not. It doesn't matter. It affects you. It changes your coping skills. It puts you into fight or flight mode. Then it is what it is. So remember that, like when you're in those, you create a coping skill subconsciously to protect yourself, and that's a good thing. But over time, that protector can become like really super not so great and actually hinder us in our growth and our progress and our connections with others. So, and I'm not a therapist. These are things that I've learned from doing a lot of readings and from doing my own healing. And um, just be gentle with yourself and forgive yourself for like having those because you didn't know better. You're doing really good. So just we all have stuff. Every single one of us. We are all works in progress. And if you were perfect, you would no longer be embodied. That's what the human experience is for: healing, growing, learning. What is it? Wash, rinse, repeat. Patricia, Julie, Valerie, Tiffany, and Sora. So I hope that was helpful for you. Sometimes we just need the validation. I can't tell you how many readings I've had where I'm like, oh my God, somebody notices the work I've been doing. Like maybe the people around me don't, but if they notice, that's like, I'm good. That means it's like working. Patricia, messages from your guides. Is it the 90s? I think it might be a song from the 90s. It's like, keep on moving, don't stop. Keep on moving, don't stop. No. The time is something for the it just feels like to me, this feels like an encouragement on your manifesting. I don't know if you've been working on that, but that's the way like everything feels around it for me is when you're manifesting something, it's like you've been at it, you've been at it, you've been at it, and you're waiting for it to come into the 3D, and it's like, oh, and they're sort of like encouraging you to like just keep with it, stick with it, don't lose hope, don't lose faith, like it's coming. So that's like literally what that means to me. they're just encouraging you to stick with that. Um, I've been getting little signs around that too. So maybe that's energetically a lot of people are like needing like a little bolster of faith and a little reminder. Yeah. So just, you know what? Like, when you get really excited for something, like you're going to go to a concert or you got tickets, or when you were a little kid and you knew a party was coming or something, like whatever, your birthday was coming. And it's like, if you just keep busy doing other things, it'll get there soon enough and it'll help the time go by. Or, like if you can just get yourself to go to sleep for a while, like, so like get it off of your mind and know that it's coming, it'll come to you. Um, Everything just has to line up perfectly. Maybe think, like when you think of like when those people who set up like take hours and hours and hours to set up those domino spills or those marble things or all those things happen, which are fantastic. But I'm like, oh my God, how do they have the patience to set all that shit up? Like, I love watching them. But that is a lot of patience. But like, when you're like it takes a lot to set all of that up for everything to be just perfect. They have the idea in their head. It starts from the first thing, and it takes a lot to get to that end final where you can knock it all down. And that's like your manifestation coming, right? So they just have to set everything up, and some things move into place a lot easier. There isn't as much to get to that part, but other things need a little bit more finagling and moving. It's okay for life to be still. We get impatient when life is still and we think nothing's happening, but really, when you throw meat in the fridge and all of that, holy crap, y'all, I'm sorry about the fly. The tiny little fruit flies. When you're marinating a piece of meat, right? You got a tough piece of meat that just needs to marinate. Like it needs to sit. It needs to sit with the acid and with the flavors and everything like that to like it looks like nothing's happening, and then you throw it on the grill and you're like, holy shit. But like, so like just know that even when it seems like nothing's happening, lots and lots of stuff are happening. We just can't always see it. I saw this one, like sometimes these little memes pop up and I take them as signs because it makes me feel better. And quite frankly, I'm going with it. And it's like your name is being spoken in rooms that you've never even entered. So it's sort of like there's a lot of stuff that happens that you don't even know about in order to get what you want. So it's just a reminder to keep moving. Don't stop. Don't give up. Just keep doing one foot in front of the other. And I think Roxy Talks has a really cool one. It's about just I don't know how I'm going to get it. I don't know when it's going to come, but I know that my guides and the universe are just going to keep encouraging me to put one foot in front of the other, and I'm going to end up there. I don't know how to get there, but I just know that I'm going to get there. Julie, Valerie, Tiffany, Sora. So I bought this stuff. I'm like obsessed with lip balms and stuff. And I actually think that my 4-year-old is too. It's really funny. She'll put on like bright red lipstick at 8:00 in the morning. It's like the first thing she wakes up, they go say good morning to the bunny, and they get the bunny out and they play with the bunny for a little bit. And then she'll come out and she'll be in like full-ish makeup. She just goes in my drawer and just like, what's funny is like they wear more makeup. My kids wear more of my makeup than I do. But I bought this. I read a story on Bridgerton, and apparently their lips are supple and soft, and they use this pawpaw ointment. So I bought some. So I'm gonna put some on because my lips are dry right now. Also cuteness from my 4-year-old. We went to the mall yesterday because there's a bookstore called Indigo. I think they have them in Canada. I think that's where they're originally from, but there's one in the United States, and it's like in a mall 15 minutes from my house. And we were going to Indigo, but my 4-year-old stopped. She walked by Williams Sonoma. She's like, I want to go in there. And I was like, okay. Cause there was like a Easter candy display, but then she was like being grown up and like, she was looking at all the different things and all the different utensils and like seeming very interested in them. And then we walked by Anthropology, and they had like a big, they have like those big flowers and things like that. So she wanted to go in and see that. And then she kind of walked around the display and could see the bigger part of the store. She's like, what? And I go, it's a clothing store. And she goes, well, 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 with her mask on and all her curls, like just her crazy hair. Okay, sorry. Okay. Shaheen, I missed you last week. I think you paid. I refunded your money. So Julie, Valerie. Oh, Julie's up. Okay. Any messages from my guides? I've been working on keeping my vibration higher and it feels great. I do feel a little stuck in my heart chakra. Like that's the one place I feel like you worked on your solar plexus and you're sort of working on your upper stuff. And I just feel a little bit like a little stuck in my heart chakra that I could do like visualize a white light. You can either visualize it coming from your back and like going through your heart chakra and cleaning. So you visualize that pure white coming through and like, it gets, when you rinse through like something through cheesecloth or through whatever, it like eventually becomes clearer and clearer. So it just, you could visualize doing that as a way to clear your chakra. And you may have to do it more than once. It's not like a one-time thing, but I just feel like that's where I feel stuck. And it really feels like I'm really good at giving love to others. I just have a harder time accepting and receiving love. And it's even in the little ways. Like, so forms of love aren't all about romance or from family members. Somebody opening a door as kindness, and that's a form of love. It's not a huge gesture, but it is a form of love. Kindness is love, right? So it feels like I don't allow others to do for me because it's the sense of, I don't want anybody to think I'm not capable. And this goes way back. This feels like a very old like thought process. So it feels like sort of release that belief system and just like allow that kind of stuff in. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but I hope it's helpful. Valerie, Tiffany, and Sora, you guys are up. I keep going between like, this heater gets like, and then I get cold, and that's so true. Okay, good. So I hope that's helpful, and that will help you then feel more balanced, and like there's a connection then between all of your, like you won't feel like all of a sudden one day like a dip in your energy and wonder why. You're doing great. So it just feels like this is clear. It just feels like that's where I need to kind of focus a little bit. Valerie is seeking guidance on my new business. I followed my soul's calling, but I am not sure if I'm doing the right things to get my first customers. So a little bit is this is being stuck with manifesting. So the idea that like following your soul's calling is perfect because you got that divine inspiration and it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. So don't worry about the customers coming. So start just seeing them, even if it's just like one customer, and start changing it. Because this is something I started doing was everybody in my head, everybody talks about me to other, I get, as soon as I do a reading for a client, they let their friends know all about me. They tell strangers about me. They're so impressed with their readings. Like if you just start believing that, because I was believing that nobody wanted to talk about me, or I was an embarrassment, or I was something to be ashamed of. I joke, which I shouldn't, that I'm people's dirty little secret because they're like, you're not going to tell anybody about this. Or like, my family's home. I don't want anybody to know. And I'm like, it's cool. Like, cause I get it. It's a very vulnerable place to get a reading. Like it's, when you open your energy up to somebody else and you're like, give it to me, you are making yourself very vulnerable. And I'm always very appreciative that somebody, when they get a private reading, that it takes a lot of trust. And I am respectful and grateful for that. So it just feels like really like when you're manifesting, I feel like they'll come, and it feels like, they're going to start trickling in by the end of this month. But it's really about changing your mindset. Instead of being afraid they're going to come or needing to know how they're going to come, you sort of throw it out there like, I know I'm successful. I know you gave this to me for a reason. I'm trusting the divine universe always brings me my clients that I need and the people that need to find me. And I know you want like a hardcore answer, like, but it just feels like it's really shifting the mindset. I really believe in manifestation. I really believe we create our realities. And I really believe that we stop things from happening because we're afraid that they're, like we focus on the lack, and then it just keeps bringing us more not having it. I feel like, so then I was asking, what else can she do besides the manifesting mindset? And I would honestly, I totally like Roxy Talks. Her, she has affirmations, so success affirmations. They just listen to them over and over and over again, like put them on in the background. There's, they're like 10 minutes long. They're not crazy long or anything. It's not like I'm sitting there forever, but do them twice a day, just like spend some time. I actually like sort of bombard myself with that stuff for a while, and then I'll like take a break, and then I do it again. Again, because I believe that if we believe we're successful and we believe in ourselves, you look at people who are not so great at what they do and they're like totally shining stars. And you're like, how does that do that? Because they have a mindset that they are successful, that they are winners, that they are, look at Trump. He's a fucking mess. That man knows how to manifest. I don't care what anybody says. He is a manifester. Like he believes and he gets like, he's a toxic manifester, but he's a manifester. So good, bad, and ugly, we are always manifesting. So it just feels like kind of pull those things in. The other part I feel about it is I feel like you're not quite comfortable in selling yourself yet. I've been there. A lot of people who are entrepreneurs and who are starting their own stuff, they get like, and I always tell people I'm mentoring, when you start doing readings, you're going to feel like, oh, like, can I do $5? You want to give me $5? And like, you're like, okay. And then, or you'll do the, and you've been doing it for a while. And then you're like, well, I'm not confident enough to be like, can you pay me $75? But you're like, but I know I'm worth more than $5. Maybe I'll just say like, how about you give me a donation? And every single one, and I did it too, got a donation. You're like, fuck that shit, I'm worth more. So pardon the French, but like, or English, pardon my English. You get to a point where you recognize your value, but it feels like you aren't comfortable enough. So it's like, you need to get comfortable in your head selling yourself, knowing that you're worth it, knowing that you're doing good. And that you are qualified to do what you're doing, and like be unapologetically proud of yourself. Be unapologetically proud of yourself. You are good at what you do. You were given the inspiration to do this, not somebody else, you, because the universe meant for you to do this. I hope this resonates with you. Is there something with your hand, or are you doing something with your hands? This is my right hand, by the way. You don't feel comfortable yet. Yeah. So spend some time, like while you're waiting for these, while you're visualizing these clients to come. I really like Neville Goddard and Florence Scovel Shinn. Joseph Ally teaches Neville Goddard, but I actually really found that I like listening to the Neville Goddard talks and his lectures. He sort of talks about, like, if you look at the Bible, that it's really they're parables, and they're like hidden lessons about how you really find like God's within, and we have the power of God through and creation within ourselves. It's always there. So it's not this thing outside of you. I always like the one where it's saying like, when you pray to something outside of yours, those are actually the false gods. I thought that was interesting. Anyhow, it just feels like really needing to gain the confidence in yourself. So I mean, the way that I gained confidence was really just doing readings and asking for validation and getting validation over and over. And it took me a long time to do a reading and look at somebody and go, no, 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 I know what I'm getting. So you may not understand this right now. And you watch me on here if you ever watch me again. I hope you do. No, I mean, I'll hammer in and go, nope, it's this, yep, nope, it's this. Because when I was first starting out, I would let somebody my client lead the reading where they're like, well, maybe it's this, and this, because they wanted it to fit into their idea of what they wanted to hear. Because sometimes the stuff I get is not comfortable, and it sucks to tell somebody like, no, it's not going to work out for you. I'm really sorry. Like, that's not your path, or that's not your person. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It's just, that's not your person. Give yourself that time and that learning curve. So it's a learning curve starting a business. You learn stuff the whole way through. I mean, I learned to have to set boundaries, and you'll get all of that where you're like, I want to be really customer friendly, but like also I don't want to be taken advantage of. 12 weeks pregnant tomorrow. It's only one baby, not twins. Still very okay. So when is the baby due though? Is that a Gemini baby? Is that why I felt twins? I feel like it'll be summer, and I think you'll close on the house in probably August. 9/20 on your birthday. That's not Gemini then. That's Sagittarius, right? Is that a Sagittarius, or is that a end of Leo? No, that's not Leo. What's in between Leo and Sag? Is that Virgo? You're a Virgo. I'm kidding. Maybe there's a Gemini, like maybe the sun or maybe the moon or the rising is Gemini when your baby's born. Or maybe the next set's twins. But I'm super happy that you're healthy and you're through your first trimester. So that's rocking. I hope that you're having a good pregnancy. And I know probably August is like, ugh. I moved into this house. We closed a month before my second daughter was born, and I had her 2 weeks after we moved in. It's all doable. I mean, our house was like, my husband had crews, like whatever it was like, but it's doable. And it's going well. Good. I'm glad for you. So I hope that was helpful, Valerie. I know I was kind of went all over, but I hope you come back too. August makes you a little nervous. It's okay. It'll all work out. So it may be the very beginning of August. That still gives you plenty of time. Look, I'm going to tell you this, 3 kids and was a NICU nurse and a newborn nursery nurse and a pediatric nurse. You can have a pack and play for them to sleep in because you're going to want them in your room. You're not going to want to have to get up and walk across the house. So that room does not need to be set up. Do not pressure yourself on that. My kids slept like in a mini crib or a pack and play, depending on the situation, like next to my bed for the first 6 months because, and then by then I put them in their rooms. And so you don't need it set up right away. So just breathe. You don't need a changing table. You can throw a cloth Chucks pad down and change them wherever you're at. I actually ended up I got a changing pad for on top of one of the dressers, and then I never used it. Those big cloth Chucks pads that they use, not the throwaway ones, but the throwaway ones are really good for when you're out and about in public, because then like if you get poop on it or something like that, you're not having to clean it. You just throw it away. But the cloth ones are really great for the house because you can throw them on the couch or throw them on the floor and change them wherever you're at, and you're good to go. Again, I'm super practical. You don't have to have it all. Like onesies, and onesies can go, like if they get poop all over, they go down over the shoulders. They don't have to go up over their head. Onesies, you need those. I liked for burp cloths. I liked diaper, like the double diaper cloths. You don't need all the fancy stuff because they're just going to puke on it. It's cute. They're going to puke on it. And jammies. And when they were little babies, I liked the snap up versus the zip up, because with the snap up, you could just unsnap the bottom and not have to take it all the way down, and they wouldn't get chilled or anything underneath. That's what babies need. They don't need a whole lot, really, really and truly. And then if you're breastfeeding, I can give you a whole bunch of tips on that too. Breastfed all three of my kids. Like they all self-weaned, so it was like for a long time. So don't put pressure on yourself, even if you move, like don't feel like it's all got to be done. It doesn't. The baby will be, just needs to be loved, fed, bathed, all of that. Sora, you're up. You're up, you're up, you're up. Oh, and like I was gonna say, for lip stuff, something that works really well is A&D works well, but Lancinol, the nipple cream, works really great. Like if you think a baby can latch on without having to wipe it off, so it's safe on your lips. It's really great for cracked heels too, and elbows, and really dry hands. And TMI, sorry for all of the rest of you. It's like my natural inclination to want to teach and help, and the nurse in me, whatever. Will things work out between me and Nikki? What will be our relationship be like for the next few months? Nikki feels very nervous to me. Like having anxiety and not being really, I feel like there's self-esteem issues, like not being super confident. Does that resonate? Like I feel like I need to reassure her a lot. That's more like you. I'm going to do what I just said. Like, no, I really feel like this is her. And I know you're asking me the question, but I actually feel like you've been waiting for her to reach out to you. I still feel like there's this anxiety and nervousness around her, and it feels like that there is reassurance issues with her. And I do feel like she'll reach out, but I feel like she needs like do you really want this relationship? Because it just feels like it feels like there's going to be a lot of dysfunction in it. Like it feels like it would be a very codependent relationship. Like as much as you feel like you're the one who needs reassurance, I still feel like there's it feels like a very, even though you're saying that, I feel like it's on her end. And I just feel like needing the drama. It really just feels like do your own thing and she'll, because she has confidence issues and it's sort of one of those things of liking to be treated not so great. And I'm not saying treat her like garbage. I'm just saying like there's this subconscious need that if someone is nice and kind to me or shows me a lot of attention or affection, it makes me feel like there's something wrong with them, because why would they like me? Twisty. So it feels like if you're showing those things, then I'm like, and to me, that's a confidence issue. there's somebody with anxiety there. And I sort of just kind of like, oh, this is like when I see people who are in manifesting rooms and an SP is like specific person. They're like, but I want that person back. And it's been a really super unhealthy relationship. And I understand why somebody feels that way. I'm not judging it, but I'm from a healed perspective. I'm like, why do you want somebody to treat you like shit? And it's sort of like, my idea is like, why do you want that much work for that? Like, they're sort of saying to me, cut your losses and run. Because she's not in a place where she's ready to heal, and it's going to be a while before she's ready in a place to heal. She gets arrogant when someone is too nice to her. Yeah. She's not anywhere in the place to be really introspective and reflective about why she is the way she is. I do feel like if you ignore her, she'll connect with you, but I just feel like I don't feel like the relationship's really going anywhere. I'm sorry. And also maybe like, just a tip, if somebody doesn't want your kindness and your love and your compassion and your like, and isn't receptive to it, it's not that there's anything wrong with you, but I don't know, don't work so hard for it. There's another guy involved. So you can do the third party thing. You imagine them leaving, but the other guy may be, more of have that player attitude and treat her not so well. So it doesn't feel like I just sort of think you're worth more. That there's someone out there that would do anything to have somebody just be kind and treat them well. Somebody who's like honest and has integrity and all of that. So just think about that. I don't see it go anywhere, but I never tell anybody like, you should get out of this, even though they say sometimes cut and run. But of course we do what we want to do, and we get the learning lessons and we get through it whenever the time frame is. I've had clients come to me for years, and then I'm like, are you done with them finally? And they're like, yeah. But it took a long time, where from the very first reading, I was like, it's not going to work. It's not, like, you keep it in your head as long as you want, but it's not going to work. And it takes them, like, I'm telling you, years where they're finally like, you were right. I'm like, it's not me, it's them. But you have to get to that conclusion and learn that lesson whenever you get there. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a very long afternoon, but I'm super glad that you guys showed up, that you stayed with me, even though I changed the time frame. I will be back next Sunday at 4:00. Much gratitude to KK for sticking through this and hanging out with me and changing times and just being super supportive and awesome. I hope you are all well. Please, if you want a private reading, I give private readings at myspiritualfriend.com. There's a section for readings. You purchase a reading, I get 2 notifications, and I send out my availability I usually do them within the week. I just like to get stuff done because I forget otherwise. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Enjoy this week. And thank you again for all of your support. Tell people about me, all of that good stuff.